Hi, I'm Phil Hall and welcome to this digital photo video tutorial. In this video we'll show you a variety of enhancements and adjustments that you can apply to your landscape shots, turning them into winning images. So we'll show you how to level your image correctly and easily, crop your image, clone out unwanted sensor dust marks, apply localized adjustments, increase saturation and warm up the entire shot. So as we've got quite a bit to do, let's crack on. So if you'd like to open up barrowbay.jpg from this month's CD, and you can see this is our shot that we took in the lakes. So we've got Derwent water there, and the shot's looking pretty good, but we can apply a series of adjustments to really lift the shot. So the first thing that strikes me is we've got a bit of a sloping horizon there, and this is easily done when you're out on location. It can sort of look pretty good in the viewfinder, but then when you get it back on screen you can see this nasty slope, but it's easy to rectify. I'm going to show you how. So what we could do normally is just try it and work out subtly what kind of angle that's at and key in an arbitrary value and rotate the image, or we could use the crop tool and just try and angle it, but I want to get it bang on. So all I'm going to do is use the ruler tool. I'm going to show you how to do this. So go to your toolbox, and it's sometimes hidden underneath the eyedropper tool. So click and hold on that. You'll get a drop down list and you'll find the ruler tool. Click on that, and where you see the lake meets the mountains, this is what we want level. So what I'm going to do is click just where those two meet, just in the left hand corner, click, hold, I'm going to drag out this ruler along the horizon. Then release, that should give us enough information, and that will stay there. So with that done, all I have to do is go to Image, Image Rotation, go to Arbitrary, and because we've used the ruler, it's already worked out at what kind of angle our horizon is at. So you can see it's at 0.47 clockwise. So if I just hit OK, it'll automatically level the image. So if I just use a guide just to run down there, see if it is straight, and as you can see we've got it bang on. So it's a really easy technique to use, but it can save you so much time. So trouble is now we've got these white banding bits in the corner of our image, so we do need to crop the image a little bit. So I'm going to select the crop tool, and then all I'm going to do is just quickly drag it out across the entire image, and then holding down the shift key, because I want to maintain the same ratio of 3:2 in the image, I'm just going to drag the top left hand corner inwards, round about there, and then the bottom right corner inwards. Can probably just come in a little bit more, yeah, round about there. Once you're happy with your crop, all you have to do is just hit return, or you've got the option of hitting the tick option there. If you don't like it, you can just hit that icon there to cancel your crop, but I'm happy with that, so I'm going to hit return, and we've got our cropped and leveled image. So that was really easy to do. Next thing I'm going to take a look at is I've noticed there's some sensor dust creeping in at the top of the image, which is a real annoyance, and even with some sort of dust reduction systems you still get specks of dust on your sensor. So it's good to know how to eradicate this. So all I'm going to do is just quickly zoom in up the top there, just move along to the left, zoom in a bit more so I can get a really clear idea what I'm doing. Just going to use the space bar to move upwards. There you go, we've got our bits of sensor dust there, so the bane of most photographers' lives. So all I'm going to do is just going to use the healing brush to quickly get rid of these specks. So from the toolbox, select the healing brush tool, sometimes underneath the spot healing, make sure you've got the healing brush, and we want a brush size of around about 25 there. So with that done, just next to your first dust mark, hold down Alt, you'll see the cursor change. Click with your left mouse button to take a sample, then all you have to do is just run over a piece of sensor dust and it's disappeared. I can easily do that with the other two marks as well, just like that. You've got the option of using the clone tool, which is good when you come up against a tricky part in your image against a sort of a harsh line. That's where the clone tool comes in. And again, it's the same principle. Just use the clone tool. You can choose your same brush size. Use Alt to take a sample, and then just over your unwanted dust mark. Okay, so we've done that. I'm just going to zoom out now. So it's looking good. We've got rid of our dust. We've leveled our image, but I now want to make some specific area adjustments to our image. I want to just darken down this sort of sky a bit to really give it a bit more punch and mood, and then just boost the sort of contrast and lighten down in the foreground here. So I'm going to tackle, I think, the sky first. So I'm going to go over to my toolbox, select the lasso tool, and then make a very rough selection of the sky up, round, then down, and release. You'll see you've got these marching ants running around here. That's our selection. But if we were to make any changes now, there'd be a harsh transition between the two adjustments. So I'm just going to feather this by going to Refine Edge and entering of a feather for around about 150. Hit OK. I'm using CS4 and it's the same with CS3, but if you're using an earlier version of Photoshop, all you have to do is go to Select Feather and key in 150 pixels and you'll get the same kind of results. Okay, I'm going to bring up my layers palette now, which is F7 on your keyboard. It's my layers palette. I've just got this single background layer at the moment. If I go down, I want to select this black and white icon here, which is the Create New Fill or Adjustment layer. Click on it, and from the drop down options, select levels. I'm using CS4, so this comes up in its own specific window, but you'll get a pop-up box if you're using CS3 or earlier. So what I'm going to do is just drag this left-hand arrow inwards towards the histogram. You'll see when I do that, the sky darkens down nicely. If I just hide that adjustment layer, see it's made a massive difference to the shot. So for earlier users of Photoshop, at this point, just hit OK once you're happy with that. I'm just going to have to close this panel there. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to click back on my background layer, and I'm just going to move this to one side just a moment. I'm going to make a rough selection of this foreground, because this is what we're going to lighten up and just add a bit of boost to as well. So I'm just going to run around there and up. So I'm going to feather as before, so Refine Edge, 150 pixels or thereabouts, hit OK. And again, I'm going to do levels on this selected area. So just hit the Create New Filler Adjustment layer icon again, choose levels, and again we've got this panel that's popped up here. You'll get a different pop-up box if you're using an earlier version of Photoshop. What I'm going to do is just drag that into the histogram. So we've got a left-hand one there, and then just drag this right one inwards as well. You can see if I just hide that, it's just boosted the contrast up nicely. Okay, so hit OK. I'm just going to close that. Right, I think the next thing I want to do is just boost the saturation of the entire image. Now there is a simple way of doing that. It's just clicking back on your background layer and then just going to Hue Saturation for the drop down list. But we can only push it so far before the image begins to deteriorate and the colours block up. But I'm going to show you a little trick that you can apply to your images, which allows you to push the saturation even further without the image deteriorating. So I've got my background layer selected, and I'm going to just duplicate this layer. So I'm going to go to Layer, Duplicate Layer, and I'm going to call this layer Colour when prompted. So hit OK, and we've got our new duplicated layer called Colour. So it's the same image as our background layer, but what we're going to do with this layer, it sounds rather daft, is go to Filter, Blur, then Gaussian Blur. I'm going to blur the shot by 2.5 pixels. So key that in. Once you've done that, hit OK. So we've got a blurred image now, but it's going to make sense in a moment. So what I'm going to do with my colour layer selected is go down to the Create New Filler Adjustment layer icon, click on it, choose Hue Saturation as you would do, but rather than just being able to push it sort of like +10, we're really going to be able to crank it up to 35. I mean, you probably could go further, but I think with this shot, it's going a bit too far. So I'm going to go for around about plus 35. Hit OK. I'm just going to close this so that's been applied. Then I'm going to click back on my colour layer. And what I'm going to do here is change the blending mode from normal to colour. So as you can see, the blurredness has disappeared, and what's happened is we've just maintained the colour information in that shot. So it's allowed us to push the image further without sort of the image sort of degrading and deteriorating and colours blocking up. So we've really punched that shot up, but I think just to finish off, what I want to do is just warm up the entire image. So I'm going to click back on my hue saturation, adjustment layer, and from the drop down I'm going to select photo filter. Now this is an easy and quick way to apply a warm up effect to our shot. Now traditionally you'd use a warm up filter if you're using film, and that'd be on the front of your camera and just warm up the colours, but we can easily do this in Photoshop. So from the filter choices, I'm going to go with the default warming filter 85. If you've got a different image that would suit, say, a cooler or cooling effect, you've got those options there, and you can even really tinker with the colours in the colour picker. But for this shot I just want to warm it up, so I'm going to go for a warming filter 85 and a density of 25%. You can increase that, but I think it probably goes a bit too far in the image, so I'm going to stick down at 25%. Hit OK. If I just move this to one side, that's our finished shot. The great thing is you can apply these adjustments to your own landscape shots, so why not give it a go with your own landscape images? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!